All right, welcome to this video. And to start off the podcast today, we're going to be talking about Apple. Now, Apple's September event 2021 is set to be massive. It could be massive. Now, as you know, Apple always has events to talk about new products. Oftentimes, like in March, April, they'll just do a press release and look, a new iPad, right? But sometimes they do events. But in September is their typical iPhone event. Now, in this event, we could have many of the rumored products that have been said to come out. We could have a lot of the rumored products that have been said that they're going to come out with. So we could have the iPhone 13, the Apple Watch Series 7, the M1X MacBook Pros, or and the iPad Pros, the iMacs, the Mac Minis, and even products like the redesigned iPad Mini, of course. And of course, maybe the 10.8 inch or the original iPad. And I'll talk about that and maybe a Pro somewhere. But now, let's look at the iPhone the 13. Now, we're not expecting any delays with this this year with this phone. Because, of course, after it having to be pushed back last year, and that was due to the fact that there were supply issues. Now, there are going to be 4 models that should be launching at the same time this year. And despite the iPhone 12 mini underselling from what Apple thought it would, they still plan to make updates to the mini with the iPhone 13 mini, because nothing says, hey, make more phones, make more products, then your things aren't selling, sir. The lineup for the phone will stay the same, meaning that there are no changes to the display sizes of each model. So this that means a 5.4 inch iPhone 13 mini, a 6.1 inch iPhone 13. That would be a small iPad. A 6.1 inch iPhone 13 Pro, and a 6.7 inch iPhone 13 Pro Max. If I've said 12, it's 13. I'm sorry. It's night when I'm filming this. Now, I think they should increase that to a 6.3 and a 6.5. I don't know, but definitely a little bit bigger than 6.1. The 6.1 is nice. Now, as for the features for all of these models, we have a pretty good idea on these, right? So the biggest feature to this year's phones is, of course, the addition of an LTPO display that will enable this phone to have a 120 hertz refresh rate display. Now, this display technology will work very similarly to the way it does on, let's say, the iPad Pro with the ProMotion display. Apple will be able, things like the ProMotion display, Apple will be able to dynamically adjust the refresh rate of the display to save battery life when you don't need to be using the 120 hertz display, the 120 hertz feature. Now, in general, this display would look a lot better and more clear and more concise than the standard 60 hertz display, which the current iPhones have right now. So if you have an iPhone 12 or under, it has a 60 inch, every single one. Now, you'll notice this change, let's say, when you're watching things like phone animations, or when you're able to use faster frame rates. That's when you're going to notice it. Now, that's not the only feature change coming to this year's phone's displays, because I did mention it is going to have, as I said, the LTPO display. This means it can borrow a feature from the Apple Watch, which already uses the LTPO display. Now, this display on the Series 5 and on of the watch allows it to have an always-on display by lowering the refresh rate of all the way down to like 1 rate. And this is going to allow it'll allow it to have massive battery savings. That's what it does for the watch, while still being able to show you, the user, content on the display. So it sounds kind of like, really like the iPhone is going to do just that, saving, having lower refresh rate to have an always on OLED display, where Apple can decide, to show things like weather, time, notifications, and much more. If you've got a face, if you got a widget you want to have, I don't know, right? Another change for this year's model is the addition of a bigger battery in all models. Now, right, so though with the 120 hertz display, it's not. We're not very certain if it'll bring better battery life, especially with the fact that they're gonna lower the refresh rate to the phones, or if the 120 hertz feature will eat up all the life-saving battery capacities that would come with the iPhone, right? Because it is a brand new feature, never tried on an iPhone before. Now, for any design changes, we sometimes really see in a typical year that we have a massive or somewhat change in the design in a typical year, where we see the phone get a change in body shape, among other design changes. But we don't really see that in the following year with the follow-up phone. It just doesn't happen, right? That's why it's called an S year. But we've heard many rumors that the iPhone will be getting a smaller notch. So we could be seeing a different look in terms of the front of the iPhone 13 this year. So there may also be a change to how we see the camera bump placed. The reports are coming out saying that, at least in terms of the regular iPhone 13, we could be seeing a diagonal placement of the camera bump, and we could see a slightly bigger camera bump or camera lenses on the back of the iPhone 13. That might help with zooming out and zooming in, and when you pinch to zoom and catching things or fibers or people that you normally can't catch, or different sceneries. Now, we've heard some, that there might be some new color options, like, with the iPhone 13, right? So like with the iPhone 13 getting a darker shade of colors, and the iPhone 13 Pro is said to be getting a deeper black option and a new bronze or orange option as well. Now, we should also be getting the A15 chip this year, so of course we should get some speed improvements in this phone. Now, that's going to happen. There's always going to be a new chip or something like that. Now we are getting rumors, of course, from people like Mark Gurman, that there won't be any Touch ID on this year's phones. So whereas much earlier, really before this time, we were hearing lots of reports, and I mean many reports saying that, oh my God, there's going to be a second biometric on the phone. And of course, it's known as Touch ID, and you'll be able to either do Touch ID or Face ID, or get either or something, or both, or something, have two securities. But now apparently it's not going to happen. So the iPhone 13 is sounding like an SE or an S year again. I would expect that after a massive year it had last year with Apple Pro Raw and the massive display change and the flat sides and all kinds of things, it's not going to have that big of a year. It seems we're getting some of our requests met, like a smaller notch, some bigger batteries, a 120 hertz display, and an always-on display because it's an LTPO display. Now, the next product to be shown at this event, it's a given. You can't really doubt it. Watches and phones go together. It's called the Apple Watch Series 7. The big change for this model is supposed to be a new design, according to John Prosser. This model will be borrowing from recent designs of recent products like the iPhone 12, the iPad Pro, and new iMacs, because the iMacs look like the iPhones now, and the iPads square, flat on both sides, and having flatter sides. Like I just said, it should also come in some in new color options, even more than last year's Watch 6. So, more than last year's Watch 6. I don't know how many more colors they can make, but then again, I am blind. So, hello. Now, Prosser also says that Apple could be coming out with a new remodel of the aluminum model. Now, Mark Gurman from Bloomberg says that this watch will also have an even smaller bezel and a new display lamination technique that would raise the display closer to the top cover. This new design will not only have have a new look outside, but also inside with some new functional changes. It said that Apple will also be enabling a double-sided system in the package for the S7 chip, which will allow for even more space for battery capacity. So for those that complain, oh my god, my watch dies too quickly, hopefully they can get a bigger battery to handle that always on display and all the features that the watch comes with that you use it for, and there you go. It will also have other upgrades like the S7 chip, as we just said, which will be faster than last year's chip, but no new health sensors are rumored to be coming with this year's model. The blood glucose monitoring feature that we've all been talking about and I've wanted on the watch is not rumored to come out this year, but maybe sometime in the future, in a future model, in some years. Another accessory to be seen are the AirPods 3, and the designers and rumors have it coming out as with photos and images and prototypes. All of it, right? And it's said that they're supposed to go into production in August. So basically next Monday, hopefully. Now they're supposed to look like the AirPods Pro design with the shorter stems, stem design, silicone ear tips, but the case will be a bit smaller than the one of the AirPods Pro. I'll tell you right now. I kind of want the case for the AirPods Pro to be smaller. I don't think it needs to be that big. I'm going to be honest with you. They don't. But the case will still have wireless charging. Now, although they will have the look of that would be similar to the features of the AirPods Pro, they most likely will not have some of the bigger features that make the AirPods Pro a big selling point in Apple, like transparency or ambient noise mode, or noise cancellation mode. But they should retail for the same $150 price like we have with the regular AirPods right now. Now we might see a new redesigned and brand new version of the iPad mini, which would basically be a smaller version of the current iPad Air with the removal of the top and bottom chin and no home button. So what does this mean? No home button. Well, and no top and bottom chin. Well, it means that Apple will be moving the Touch ID into the power button, and this would also then create support for an 8.4-inch display supporting the second generation Apple Pencil and switching it to the USB-C ports. So whether you get a Mac, whether you get an iPad, you'll get USB-C. Now, most recent reports say that the iPad mini will come with the same chip as the iPhones this year instead of the A14 chip like last year. So if they do that, and if it does go, they do go with that course in that direction, kind of, you're right. They could be doing it where they're offering a spec boost to the current iPad Air, but it'd be strange, right? If they actually came out and then they released a chip with the same, which would have and it make it more powerful than the iPad Air. You can't do that, right? So hopefully they do. Apple's weird, right? So we're expecting a newer redesign of the $329 iPad, as I said, where it would look like the last iPad Air version before the current one with a 10.9-inch display. It would also have all the features. It will have all the features of the third generation iPad Air, with that top and bottom chin and the home button with Touch ID. And of course, it would still support the first generation of the Apple Pencil, and would still support the 10.2-inch keyboard case cover. So here's the thing, I have to say, I think they should have the Apple Pencil in it, or the second generation. Just update everything. And I'm going to get to the chip now, but update the Pencil to the second gen. Have every iPad be on the second gen. I know you're trying to keep it cheaper, but I guarantee you the technology is not that difficult to update, and it's not that costly. Now, instead of the A12 chip, this new iPad is rumored. Again, these are all just rumors, but typically it's true with these guys. Mostly like 90%. So it's rumored to be getting the A13 chip. This means this iPad will be getting a boost in storage as well. So hopefully they will go from 32 gigabytes of storage and start shipping 64 gigabytes of storage iPads. That would be really nice, to where it's not so small. So a new iPhone, 4 models, a new watch, maybe some new Macs. I would push that to October or November. A couple new iPads, possibly the iPad mini, AirPods Pro, or AirPods 3. Who knows? And maybe some updates to our AirPods Pro. You never know. So, let me know in the comments. What are you excited for this upcoming Apple event? What do you want to see at this upcoming Apple event? What do you want to see from all of these products? Do you think they should put a better chip in on the iPad Air, or the iPad Mini, or do you think they should keep that at the 13? Do you think they should make the A13 chip? Do you think they should make the original $329 iPad? Give it the technology to support the Apple Pencil too. Do you think they should give it the A15 chip? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we're going to get to some more hockey and more politics. Peace.